Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm excited to share that I've written a book titled Wings of Faith, Quran, Elon Musk, SpaceX, and the Journey to the Heavens. It will be available for purchase on Amazon in about 10 days. Good news for our online members. You can get it for free. If you're already a member or interested in joining, just hit the join button and select level 2. Membership includes all future books at no cost. After you join the membership, send me a message on WhatsApp, so I will create an account for you in the portal that you see on the screen. My team is working hard to create great videos for you and exploring various ways to cover our costs. Thank you for your support. Now, let me ask some questions to ChatGPT. Hey, ChatGPT. I'll provide some keywords, and I'd like you to summarize the context in 30 seconds. Are you ready? Here are the keywords: Wings of Faith, Quran, Elon Musk, SpaceX, and the Journey to the Heavens.
The Quran, Surah Al-Nahl, chapter 16, verse 79 says, "And he it is who has made the birds to be of service to you, that they may fly in the air with their wings." This verse highlights the wonders of creation and the blessings bestowed upon humanity, which can connect to themes of exploration and the relationship between faith and the natural world. Cleophee, the keyword suggests a story that connects faith and technology. Wings of Faith hints at the role of belief, especially from the Quran, in the quest for knowledge. Elon Musk and SpaceX represent our efforts to explore space. The phrase journey to the heavens can mean both traveling to space and a deeper spiritual journey. This context could explore how religious beliefs and modern science can work together or influence each other, especially in the exciting field of space exploration.
Thank you so much, ChatGPT. Today, Jack and Wilson will take a deep dive into my book Wings of Faith, Quran, Elon Musk, SpaceX, and the Journey to the Heavens. Stay tuned. It's going to be really interesting. Hey everyone, before we get started, I noticed in my YouTube channel analytics that many of you watching aren't subscribed. If you could do me a big favor and hit that subscribe button, I'd really appreciate it. It motivates me and helps the channel grow, so I can create more videos like the one you're about to see. Also, as some of you requested, my team has launched a website where you can read my books and find transcripts of all my videos in the form of small booklets. The link is in video description. We're working hard to produce informative videos daily, along with books and transcripts. I'd love your help in spreading dawah, calling to Allah's message. Please click the join button to show your support. Now, let's dive in.
Have you ever just looked up at the night sky and thought about, what's out there, And, what our future is as humans amongst the stars?
It's a question that's captivated humanity for millennia.
Well, today's deep dive is going to take us on a really fascinating journey as we explore that question.
Sounds intriguing.
It is. We're diving into a book called Wings of Faith,
Okay.
which blends the Quran, the science of flight, and the ambitious vision of SpaceX.
That's a pretty unique combination.
It is. And, it prompts us to think about space exploration as more than just a technological race, but delving into our place in the vast universe and the deeper meaning behind our quest to reach for the stars.
I like that.
Yeah, I'm really interested in the book's concept of a divine blueprint for flight.
Oh, yeah, that's one of the central themes.
What is that all about?
Well, the author Cleophee starts with a verse from the Quran.
Okay.
It says, "And he it is who has made the birds to be of service to you, that they may fly in the air with their wings." And it's presented as an invitation to observe nature, to understand the mechanics of flight as a reflection of divine creation.
So we're talking about birds inspiring our understanding of flight.
Exactly.
That's a cool connection to the history of aviation.
Yeah, and the book really digs into how those early observations of birds led to the principles of aerodynamics.
Okay, so aerodynamics is like understanding lift and drag and thrust.
You got it.
Can you break down those concepts a bit more for me? I get that lift is what gets things off the ground.
Right.
But I'm picturing a bird soaring so effortlessly, How does that translate to planes and rockets and all that?
Okay, so imagine a bird's wing slicing through the air, right?
Okay.
The shape of that wing, it forces the air to move faster over the top than underneath.
Oh, okay.
And that difference in airspeed, what it does is it creates a lower pressure above the wing.
Uh-huh.
And that results in an upward force.
And that's lift.
That's lift.
So it's like the air is pushing the wing upwards.
Precisely. Now, drag is the resistance the wing encounters from the air.
Okay.
It's like friction, It's what
Yeah.
slows the bird down, and then thrust.
Yeah.
That's the force that propels the bird forward,
Okay.
generated by flapping its wings.
So it's this interplay of lift, drag, and thrust that allows birds to soar through the sky.
You got it. And understanding these principles,
Yeah.
this is what allowed humans to replicate flight,
Right.
first with gliders, and then with the groundbreaking invention of the airplane.
Well, speaking of groundbreaking, the book also talks about the story of the Wright brothers.
Oh, absolutely. A pivotal moment in aviation history.
What can we learn from their journey?
Well, it's fascinating because their background wasn't in aerospace engineering or physics or anything like that.
Really?
They were bicycle mechanics.
Oh, wow.
And their success was really fueled by this meticulous observation, experimentation, and a relentless pursuit of data.
Wow.
They even built their own wind tunnel.
Wait a minute. They built their own wind tunnel.
They did. Yeah. To test different wing designs.
That's amazing.
It really speaks to their ingenuity and resourcefulness.
It really does.
And by meticulously recording data from those wind tunnel experiments, they were able to refine their designs and achieve that historic 12-second flight at Kitty Hawk.
So it wasn't just luck.
No, not at all.
It was meticulous science and engineering that allowed them to make history.
Exactly.
And that first flight essentially opened the floodgates for, the evolution of aviation as we know it, right?
It absolutely did.
Yeah.
From those humble beginnings, we saw this rapid advancement in aircraft technology, especially during wartime.
Right.
World War II and the Cold War. They spurred incredible innovation
Wow.
in aircraft design and propulsion systems. And that laid the groundwork for what would become the space race.
And that leads us up to the modern era of space exploration
Yeah.
and the audacious goals of SpaceX, right?
Yeah, definitely. But before we jump into SpaceX, it's important to understand that the success of companies like SpaceX, it really hinges on those foundations that were laid by decades of research and development. From those early pioneers to the massive government-funded space programs.
Yeah.
Each step, each innovation, it built upon the successes and failures of those who came before.
It's like a relay race through history,
That's a great way to put it.
passing the baton of knowledge and innovation from one generation to the next.
Exactly.
Each one pushing the boundaries a little further.
Yeah, and that brings us to the present day and to the man who's kind of captivated the world's imagination with his grand vision for space exploration.
You're talking about Elon Musk.
Elon Musk, exactly.
Now, I know that Elon Musk and SpaceX get a lot of attention,
They do.
but what makes their approach so different from what came before?
We see Musk's vision isn't just about visiting space.
Okay.
He wants to make humanity a multi-planetary species.
Wow.
And to achieve that, he recognized the need for a fundamental shift in how we approach space travel, starting with reusability.
Reusability. I've heard about reusable rockets, but why is that such a game changer?
Well, traditional rockets were essentially disposable. You launch them once and that's it.
Wow.
Incredibly expensive.
Yeah.
Musk saw that reusability was the key to making space travel more affordable and sustainable.
Okay.
Imagine the cost difference between buying a new car every time you want to go somewhere versus using the same car over and over again.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Right.
So reusable rockets aren't just a cool technological feat. They're really changing the economics of space travel.
Exactly. And that's just one piece of the puzzle.
Okay.
SpaceX's Falcon rockets, especially the Falcon 9, have demonstrated that reusable technology is viable, which is paving the way for even more ambitious projects, like Starlink and Starship.
Okay, I've heard a lot about Starlink. What is it?
So picture this, okay?
Okay.
A network of thousands of small satellites, blanketing the Earth, beaming high-speed internet access to even the most remote corners of the globe.
That's Starlink.
That's Starlink.
Wow, so it's like creating a global internet infrastructure in space.
Precisely. And it has the potential to revolutionize global communication and provide internet access to communities that have never had it before.
That's pretty incredible.
It is.
In Starship, I've seen those test launches. They're amazing. What's the purpose of Starship?
Starship is the vehicle that Musk believes will ultimately take us to Mars and beyond.
Wow.
It's designed to be fully reusable and capable of carrying large crews and cargo on these, interplanetary voyages.
It sounds like something out of a science fiction movie.
I know, right?
But as exciting as all of this is, Wings of Faith doesn't shy away from the challenges, right?
Right. Space exploration, it's not without its difficulties.
What are some of the biggest hurdles?
Well, living in space is incredibly difficult.
In what ways?
Well, you've got the radiation exposure,
Right.
the effects of microgravity on the human body,
Yeah.
and then the psychological strain of isolation.
Yeah.
These are all really significant hurdles that we need to overcome if we're serious about becoming a multi-planetary species.
It makes you really appreciate the resilience of those astronauts who spend months on the International Space
I
Station.
know, it's incredible.
They're pushing the boundaries of what's humanly possible.
They really are.
But these challenges, they're not just physical and mental, are they?
Oh, they're not.
There are ethical considerations, too.
Oh, absolutely. And that's where things get even more interesting.
Okay.
As we venture further into space, we're faced with these profound ethical dilemmas
Like what?
about our responsibility to other planets, you know, the potential impact on future generations, and the very nature of humanity's role in the cosmos.
Well, that sounds like a whole other deep dive in itself.
It is.
We're going to have to explore those ethical dimensions more when we come back.
Definitely. I think you'll find it fascinating.
I'm sure I will. Welcome back to our deep dive into Wings of Faith. Before the break, we were starting to touch upon some of the ethical challenges of space exploration, and I'm really curious to kind of explore these further.
Yeah, it's an area that's just, it's ripe with really complex questions, and there are no easy answers.
Right.
One of the most intriguing concepts the book explores is terraforming.
Terraforming.
Yeah, the idea of altering a planet's environment to make it more Earth-like.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's like something straight out of science fiction.
I know, right?
But it's starting to feel like a real possibility.
It is.
Especially with all the talk about colonizing Mars. But is it ethical to fundamentally change another planet just to suit our needs?
That's a big question.
What are your thoughts?
I mean, it's a question that raises these profound philosophical and moral considerations.
Right.
On the one hand, we have this innate drive to explore, you know, to push the boundaries of what's possible. And terraforming really represents the ultimate expression of that drive, shaping entire worlds to support human life.
It's incredible when you think about it.
It is.
But on the other hand, we're talking about potentially altering or even destroying existing ecosystems.
Right.
Even if they're just microbial.
Yeah, and that's a crucial point.
Yeah.
The book actually brings up the Quran's emphasis on balance in nature.
Okay.
And it reminds us that we need to proceed with caution.
Yeah.
And consider the potential consequences of our actions.
It's not just a free-for-all.
No.
No.
Not at all. We can't just assume that we have the right to impose our will on other planets, you know,
Right.
without understanding the potential ripple effects.
Yeah, it's like walking into someone else's home and rearranging all the furniture without us.
Exactly.
Just because we have the technological capability to do something doesn't mean that we should.
Exactly. And even if we could terraform a planet without causing harm, there's still the question of whether future generations would even want us to.
That's true.
Yeah. Do they have a right to a pristine cosmos?
Yeah.
Or is it inevitable that humanity is going to leave its mark wherever it goes?
It's a lot of responsibility to consider.
It is.
We're not just making decisions for ourselves, you know?
No.
We're potentially shaping the future of humanity's relationship with the universe.
That's right. And that leads to another ethical dilemma that the book explores.
Which is?
The potential for mining asteroids.
Okay.
And extracting resources from other celestial bodies.
So this is like a hot topic right now.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
There are companies already making plans to mine asteroids.
For what?
For precious metals, for water.
Wow.
But the question of who owns those resources, it remains unanswered.
Yeah, that's a big question.
Is it a free-for-all?
Yeah.
Or should there be some kind of international agreement?
Right, to ensure equitable access.
Exactly.
And benefit sharing.
Precisely.
It's kind of like the Wild West of space exploration.
It is. It really is.
With everyone eager to stake their claim. But we've seen how competition for resources can lead to conflict here on Earth. That's true. We need to make sure that we don't repeat those same mistakes in space.
Absolutely. Wings of Faith really emphasizes the importance of justice and fairness.
Okay.
You know, suggesting that any framework for exploiting space resources should prioritize the common good.
Yeah.
And not just the interests of a select few.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, it's a reminder that ethical considerations need to be at the forefront of our space exploration efforts.
Right.
Not an afterthought.
Okay, so we've talked about terraforming and resource extraction, but what about the idea of actually colonizing other planets?
Right.
Is that even ethically justifiable?
That's a tough one.
What are some of the potential pitfalls that we need to consider?
Well, colonizing other planets isn't just about sending people to live somewhere else.
Right.
It's about creating entirely new societies.
Oh, yeah.
And what values will those societies embody?
Right.
How will they govern themselves?
Yeah.
What kind of relationship will they have with Earth?
It's like we're not just explorers anymore.
Right.
We're potential founders of new civilizations.
Exactly.
And that comes with a huge responsibility
It does.
to make sure that we don't repeat the mistakes of the past, like colonialism and oppression and environmental destruction.
All very important considerations. And the book emphasizes that we need to be intentional
Okay.
about the values that we carry with us into space.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if we want to create societies that are truly just and equitable and sustainable,
Right.
we need to start with those principles from the very beginning.
And then there's the question of extraterrestrial life.
Ah, yes.
What happens if we're not alone in the universe?
The book delves into the profound ethical implications of encountering other intelligent beings.
Wow.
Yeah. You know, do we have a right to make contact?
Right.
Should we try to protect them from harm?
Mm-hmm.
Or should we respect their right to exist independently of us?
It's mind-boggling to even think about.
I know, it really is.
We're still struggling to understand and respect different cultures and perspectives here on Earth. How do we even begin to approach those challenges on an interstellar scale?
It's a really good point. And it highlights the immense responsibility that we bear as we venture into space. We're not just exploring for ourselves.
Right.
We're potentially representing all of humanity.
Yeah.
And shaping the course of our interactions with other life forms.
Wow. It's a lot to process.
It is.
It seems like every step forward in space exploration opens up a Pandora's box of ethical dilemmas.
It's true. And that's why this discussion is so crucial.
I know.
You know, as we push the boundaries of what's technologically possible,
Yeah.
we need to be equally engaged in exploring the ethical dimensions of space exploration. We need to ask ourselves the tough questions.
Yeah.
Consider the long-term consequences and strive to act with wisdom and compassion.
So after all this talk about the big ethical picture,
Yeah.
let's bring it back down to Earth for a moment.
Okay.
Literally.
Right.
What about the practical human experience of living and working in space?
Oh, that's where things get even more fascinating.
How
You know, living in a microgravity environment, dealing with the psychological challenges of isolation,
Yeah.
and developing the technologies to sustain life beyond Earth. I mean, those are all incredible feats of human ingenuity and resilience.
Okay, I'm definitely hooked. Let's dive into the nitty-gritty of what it's actually like for humans to experience space. Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We've been unpacking Wings of Faith and its exploration of the intersection between the Quran, space exploration, and the human spirit. Now let's talk about what it's actually like to live and work in space.
A really unique experience. It pushes the boundaries of human adaptability.
For sure. So I've seen videos of astronauts on the International Space Station playing with floating blobs of water and doing somersaults in midair.
Right.
It looks like fun.
It does.
But I imagine it takes some getting used to.
Oh, absolutely. The book talks about the physiological changes that happen in microgravity.
Okay.
You know, our bodies are so accustomed to Earth's gravity that when we remove that force, everything from our muscles to our bones to our cardiovascular system, it all starts to adapt.
Oh, wow. So it's not just about floating around, there are actual health implications.
Yeah. For example, astronauts lose bone density because their bones aren't bearing weight like they do on Earth.
Right.
They also experience muscle atrophy because they don't have to work as hard to move around.
Huh.
That's why astronauts on the ISS have to exercise for hours every day.
Really?
Yeah, using special equipment that simulates resistance training.
It's fascinating how our bodies are constantly responding to our environment,
Yeah.
even in ways that we might not realize.
Right. And what about the psychological effects of being in space?
Yeah, I imagine it could be quite isolating.
Isolation and confinement are definitely major challenges.
In what ways?
Well, you're living in a relatively small enclosed space with the same few people for months on end.
Wow.
There's no escape from the constant hum of machinery. You know, the lack of privacy and then the vast emptiness outside.
That sounds intense.
It is.
So it must take a certain type of personality to thrive in that kind of environment.
It does. Astronaut selection involves rigorous psychological screening and training.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they look for individuals who are resilient, adaptable, and have strong coping mechanisms for stress and isolation.
Makes sense.
They also learn communication and conflict resolution skills, because even in the most harmonious group, tensions are bound to arise
Well, for sure.
when you're stuck together in a tin can for months.
It really is a reminder that space travel isn't just about the technical stuff,
Right.
but the human factor.
Very much so. And, Winds of Faith, it talks about a more positive psychological phenomenon, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's called the overview effect.
The overview effect.
Yeah, it's this profound shift in perspective that many astronauts report after seeing Earth from space.
Mm.
Suddenly, our planet appears as this fragile oasis in the vastness of space with no borders or divisions.
Wow.
And it evokes a sense of awe, interconnectedness, and a deep appreciation for the fragility of life.
I can see that I've heard astronauts describe it as a life-changing experience.
It is for many.
One that instills a sense of global citizenship and a responsibility to protect our planet.
Yeah, and the book connects this experience back to the Quran's emphasis on the unity of creation
Okay.
and our role as stewards of the Earth. It suggests that space exploration can be a catalyst for a deeper understanding of ourselves, our place in the universe, and our responsibility to care for our planet.
So it's almost like going to space to explore the cosmos, but ending up discovering something profound about ourselves and our connection to everything around us.
It's a beautiful way to put it. And it brings us to another fascinating aspect of space exploration, the challenge of sustaining life beyond Earth.
Yeah, if we're serious about establishing colonies on Mars or elsewhere, we need to figure out how to create self-sufficient life support systems.
Right. It's like building a miniature Earth in a box.
Exactly. You need to provide everything from oxygen and water to food and waste management.
It's a huge undertaking. And the book explores some of the innovative technologies being developed to address these challenges,
Like what?
like bioregenerative life support systems.
Oh, I've heard of those. Aren't they like self-contained ecosystems where plants and microorganisms work together to recycle air, water, and waste?
Exactly. It's this fascinating blend of biology, engineering, and ecological principles.
It's amazing.
It is. By creating closed-loop systems where resources are constantly reused and waste is minimized,
Right?
we can potentially create sustainable habitats for humans in space.
It's amazing how space exploration pushes us to innovate
It does.
in ways that could also benefit us here on Earth.
Absolutely. We're not just exploring space, we're exploring new ways of living and sustaining life.
And that's one of the key takeaways from Wings of Faith, space exploration, is this multifaceted endeavor.
Really?
It's a journey of scientific discovery, a testament to human ingenuity, and a profound reflection of our values and aspirations as a species.
I completely agree. It reminds us that space exploration is more than just a technological pursuit.
Right.
It's a mirror reflecting our curiosity, our ingenuity, and our responsibility as inhabitants of this remarkable planet
Yeah.
and as members of a vast interconnected cosmos.
Well, it's been an absolutely fascinating deep dive exploring the Quran's perspective on humanity's place in the universe, the ethical considerations of our ventures into space, and the awe-inspiring realities of living beyond Earth. Wings of Faith has given us a lot to ponder.
A lot to think about for sure.
So as we conclude our deep dive, I think the message is clear. As we reach for the stars, we also need to reach within ourselves to understand our place in the grand scheme of things, and to ensure our journey into the cosmos is one of wisdom, compassion, and a deep respect for all of creation.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Thank you for joining us for today's podcast. I hope you've gained some valuable insights. If you're a truth seeker, yearning for divine light and ready to step out of darkness, now is your moment. The truth is that Allah is the one and only creator of the universe. He has sent over 124,000 messengers and prophets to guide humanity, starting with Adam and culminating with the final messenger, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon them all. If you resonate with this message, you might be ready to embrace Islam. Simply recite the Shahada, the Islamic declaration of faith. For further support, feel free to join our WhatsApp group. You can send us a private message there. The link is in the video description. Don't wait until it's too late. We look forward to connecting with you soon.